Hey, Ryan. So I put together, like we said, I put together a Nearpod for you, and this is just the student view. And so as we talked about, you would start with something, to capture their attention. I would start with this, on the screen in your room. And I'll let you sit there with it for just a moment. Just as a by, this is Jim Morrison back in 1970. Then the thought question. If you had 30 seconds to convince your best friend to take your place in jail for 5 years, what would you say? And this one I just included in there for a little bit of fun. But now you have an open-ended question. We talked about that. You leave them with that thought question. If you had 30 seconds to convince your friend to take your place, what points would you make? And this is where the students would get to enter their answers. This is where you're getting that full class participation. Then of course you can talk about it, and then you introduce your concept, which in this case is rhetoric. And again, you can use slides to introduce concepts. Here I just introduced ethos, pathos, and logos. And again, just going through it with them. Here, the students have an activity where they can match things. So it's basically a matching card, whoops. So they can match things together. And then you can reiterate, giving them additional images to work with, ethos, pathos, and logos. And then you can take a poll. Which appeal do they feel is the most powerful? And so you then can get the results and again have discussion over that. Then you can go through examples. This is where I talked about doing this live, where you give them these examples, and then afterwards, so we have pathos and logos, and then afterwards asking them for their opinion. And so the student can draw or type their answers in there. And just having a few of those. So basically, Nearpod really allows you that opportunity for basically for student interaction, for student buy-in, where it's all on the front end. And then you can leave them with, what questions do they have for you? I hope this was helpful.